just for giving me an opportunity to speak to you all. Really unique season, I think, to say the least. I think everything since March has been unique. So I think it's truly been awesome what you have been able to do. Before I get started with thank yous, I definitely want to shout out Kelly Greer. I don't think she's here tonight, but she works so hard to make sure that the athletics can happen. She worked extremely hard and advocated and pretty much promised the administration that she was going to be able to put on sports in a safe and a productive manner. And I think she accomplished that. So I did definitely want to make sure we gave kudos to her. That being said, I'd like to kind of just throw a use out, and then I'll let you guys go throughout your program. But first off, thank you to the parents, because letting your students and your children come to practice every day, participate in games, and participate in school in the physical building with all this going on. It takes a lot. I mean, as a parent myself, making those decisions, it's tough. And these are things we've really never been faced with. So I want to thank you for putting your trust in us and your trust in these coaches. So thank you. Thank you also to our student acts. You guys are awesome. The roller coaster of emotions you guys went on from athletics not being existent for this year to all of a sudden we're going and you guys are showing up for a Monday practice and you guys are all in. So you guys, it's a testament to your guys' hard work and your perseverance. And, I think it's going to make you guys, stronger in the long run with everything you guys have gone through this year. And then finally, I'll finish with, I just want to thank the coaches for everything that you guys do for our kids on a daily basis. You guys work extremely hard. You're a fun group to work with. I love watching all of you guys on the field, love watching our student athletes. So I really just want to say thank you to everybody for making this, it is what it is. It was a season that was unique. I'm glad you guys were able to do the things that you were able to do. And I'm looking forward to the future. So again, thank you to everybody. And Coach Jennings, I really do appreciate you giving me the opportunity to speak here.
No, not a problem. I think thanks for wanting to talk, Mr. Chance. Before you go, one thing I want to say, and Mr. Chance kind of passed off some of that thank you to Mrs. Greer, who definitely deserves it, but also Mr. Chance needs to be thanked for all his hard work and the challenges that, he's had to face this year as a principal. And so, Mr. Chance, appreciate the support and everything you did for us. And I know it was frustrating and stressful, but we do appreciate everything. So thank you.
Thank you.
Yep. And also, that's he kind of took some of my thunder regarding Mrs. Greer and, all the hard work and I don't think there's a better word to say other than, advocate for football and for fall sports. And, Mrs. Greer worked tirelessly and fielded our endless phone calls and text messages and emails and questions and, to really make this season happen. Even if it was 4 games, we had a season, which there's a lot of places that that is not happening or didn't happen. So thank you to both Mr. Chance and Mrs. Greer. A few more thank yous, and then we'll get this thing going. Kind of need to thank the maintenance department, specifically Martin DeLeon, who, cleaned every single day and did all the stuff that needed to be done at our locker rooms to ensure that we had a safe environment, not just the locker rooms, but the stadium itself. So, really appreciate that from Martin and our transportation department, and their hard work and getting us to and from games safely and being willing to drive in a situation like, that we're dealing with. Always got to thank the city of Whiting and Mayor Speedbar. I want to thank the Parents Club and I know this year wasn't a normal season regarding how the Parents Club likes to operate, but, they still made sandwiches and they made senior bags and they did their best to make it as special as possible. And I appreciate the parents, not just this year, but all the years that we have, of football and just all their everything that they just love to do for the kids. And that's what makes our program special. So thank you to all the parents. Also, Mr. Chance alluded to it as well, but, thank you to, entrust your son to play football during this situation. I know it was a tough decision and a decision that, you didn't take lightly. And I'm sure that some of our kids had to beg to play football. And I appreciate you giving us, that you trusted us to do the right thing and to take care of your kid. And so I know that was tough, and I do appreciate that. And, for being flexible. It was, kind of a crazy time, especially if you think back into July, where it was kind of up and down and all the craziness that just July was. And, we had to schedule practices at different times. Also, we had to cancel practice the morning of. I know that stuff's frustrating, and we had very little pushback from parents, and you understood, and you were flexible with us, and you were patient. So I appreciate that. I got to really say thank you to the coaches and, Coach Davenport, Coach Reese, Coach Ford, Coach Gendris, Coach Ehrlich, and Coach Orisic for really kind of going above and beyond what really is expected of any staff, of a coaching staff. And this would have been an easy season to say, you know what, I'm not going to coach this year, or, it's just not worth it, or whatever the case may be. But I think parents, you need to understand what these 6 men, what they really value, and they value the importance of athletics and relationships more than just football. And I can't ask for a better group of guys to work for than those 6 dudes. So I really appreciate everything that they did. Finally to the players and. You guys, it's hard for teenagers to follow rules sometimes. And this year was, more rules than ever. All these protocols and wearing masks and all the things that, was required of you guys. And you accepted it and you dealt with it because you knew that in order to play sports, this is what you had to do. And, you guys were flexible and dealt with, with all the stuff that was thrown at you. And all throughout that, you found a way to work hard and have fun in the process and get better. So I think that says a lot about you guys as a player, as players, and kind of your character and your upbringing. So I appreciate that. A few others, Dave and Katie Funk. Dave ran our camera, and Katie took pictures. And those guys are diehard Whiting fans, and I appreciate them. Mr. Bratcher, who I know is not here, he took stats for us. TJ Toth, he worked the camera probably in a warmest environment, mostly in the press box. So I think TJ, but I think he had it out pretty well up there. Our trainer, Danny, I don't think you guys realize how good Danny is. And she diagnosed injuries without an MRI. And that's not, any exaggeration. She does a phenomenal job. What Danny says goes. And we trust her 100%. And finally, my wife's not here. She's doing what she always does, and that's taking care of our little boy. But, her support through all this and, all the work that she put in by herself while I was out, running around coaching football. So thank you. Okay. Well, let's talk quickly about the season, and then we'll start handing out some awards. Wow, what a season, and one that was almost not meant to be. And I think Mr. Chance alluded to it, but it just seemed like trouble was around every corner. And it seemed like every week there was a new issue to deal with. And then it seemed by like Wednesday, the issue would go away, and then we can coach football. And that was kind of nice at times. And I know Mrs. Greer and Mr. Chance kind of fielded a lot of those issues and dealt with them. But, man, just the craziness of all that. And you talk about March and the virtual meetings that we had a couple times a week and the virtual workouts. You go into July, and it seemed like we were stuck in phase 1 and being in cohorts and groups the entire month. And then all of a sudden it was gone, right? We start August 3rd, and then 2 days later it's gone. And the emotion of all that. And then September 25th, it was a Friday, and we're reinstated. And the emotion of that. And then September 28th, our first practice. and the emotion of that and just all the roller coaster and all the ups and downs and all that stuff. Finally then October 9th, we got to play Griffith at home. And finally, the 100th season of Whiting football actually happened. And if you think about that and you think about the previous 99 years, and I'm not sure, how much you know about the history of Whiting football, but it's up and down. And there was a lot of great years and there was a lot of bad years. And I think this year is kind of the, maybe symbolism for the previous 99. But it was special nonetheless. And, we finished with a 1-3 record and a huge win over Bishop Knoll, who, frankly, refused to play us the previous 3 or 4 years. I mean, they just flat out refused to play us. And to beat them, I'll tell you, it was a great win and one of the better ones we've had in our program in a long time, honest to goodness, just given everything that's kind of gone on. And then we go the next week, week 2 of sectionals, and we play Andrean, and we dress 20 kids. Think about that, 20 kids, and 16 of them were freshmen and sophomores playing against, in most cases, grown men over there. And, all throughout all this, we battled injuries and we battled quarantines and we battled near shutdowns. Despite all this, though, I can't tell you what a fun year that it was. And just to see the growth that was just in that, 6 weeks amount of time was awesome. And, I think, we as coaches, and we told the players just what fun we had. And I hope that the players, and I think they did, felt the same way, that it was a blast to be out there. And, we knew that it can end at any moment. And we just went out there every day thinking maybe it's our last, and we just played. And I don't think the game is, it shouldn't be any more complicated than that. Just go out every day and just play. And it was awesome. And the kids play with tremendous heart from the beginning to the end. And I think that's all we can ask for as coaches. Okay. I'm sure there's probably a lot there that I missed, but I want to get going here. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to pass out our letters. Okay. And in all honesty, we had to make some choice in terms of how we were going to letter the kids this year. And in my opinion, to earn a letter is a special thing. And I grew up watching my older brothers play at Whiting. And I grew up hearing the stories of athletics from my dad and my mom and my 2 older brothers. And a letter is extremely important to me. And the last thing I want to do is devalue a letter, right? I don't believe in just giving them out. I think it should be earned. And in the past, we've had a varsity team and we've had a JV team. But this year, that wasn't the case. So we had 24 kids or so, give or take, 24 kids. And there was a handful of those guys that weren't going to play. And I think they knew that. And despite that, they came every day to practice and did all the things that we asked. Everything from taking temperatures every day to wearing their mask every single day to working hard every day. I don't think that we can ask anything more of a player than that. And that's why I made the decision with Mrs. Greer as well, that we're going to letter everybody. And again, that's not something I wouldn't normally do, but I feel like in this situation, given everything that's gone on, I feel like these guys deserve it. And I feel very strongly with that. So I'm very proud to say that we're going to letter all these guys. And I hope that they value it as much as I did growing up, and as much as, some of these guys here that have coached with us, how much they value their letters, because you work your tail off for them, and they do mean something. And with that being said, so there's some new people here, and I'll talk about how our lettering process works. Normally, that's Mrs. Greer's job. But basically, if you're a first-year player, you receive a participation award. Okay, it's a certificate. So all the first-year guys will get that. If you are lucky enough to earn a letter, and it's your first letter in athletics, you receive a W, a white W, okay? And when it's your first letter in that sport, you receive a pin. So in this case, it'll be a football pin that plugs onto your white letter. Okay. And then if you letter multiple times in a single sport, you'll receive a chevron. Okay. And a chevron is like a little arrow that goes on your arm. So the more letters you accrue, the more chevrons that you have. I believe Coach Greer had 12 chevrons. I mean, she lettered in every sport she played. She's not here but I believe that's the case. Like, that's how ridiculous she was. And then when you letter 7 times, you get a green W. Okay, and that's like the ultimate award to receive a green W. So that's how our lettering process works. Okay, so what we're going to do is, and it's just going to be basically me reading off some names. That's about the only way we can do this. But we'll start with a freshman and we'll go from there. Freshman, the first one was Nick Davenport. He'll receive a pin, or I'm sorry, his letter, a pin and a certificate. And Nick was kind of thrusted into everything. He ended up playing wide receiver for us, and he scored a touchdown against Knoll. And he had to play some backup quarterback position and also at the safety position. So Nick, as a freshman, saw a lot of time. The next freshman is Kyle Denecki, and the same thing for all these freshmen. They'll receive their W, their pin, and a certificate. And we thought Kyle was an offensive lineman, and lo and behold, he can catch. So all of a sudden he moves to the tight end spot, and I think that he's going to do some really good things there from the tight end spot. So Kyle Denecki. Next is Gabe Eggers. And Gabe was one of those guys who didn't see a ton of action, but every day Gabe was out there doing whatever we asked. And like I said, it's hard to ask for anything more than that, than giving everything you got, knowing that you're not going to see a ton of time. Next was Bo Harbin. I think Bo was pleasantly surprised of the things that Bo Harbin can do. And this was his first year playing football. I think he enjoyed it, and we loved having Bo out there. And he's the type of kid you can tell him to do X, Y, and Z, and he does X, Y, and Z perfectly. And finally, Brandon Stojakovic. Brandon, I'm gonna say it. I don't know if I should, but it's Coach Ford's nephew. And I think it took some time for Brandon to kind of, let go of Coach Ford a little bit and go ahead and become a freshman on his own here at Whiting. And such growth, Brandon, from the beginning of when we started to now. Super proud of where Brandon has come, and I can't wait to see what he does. So there you go. That's our freshman class. All right, let's go on to our sophomores. We got a big sophomore class. We'll kind of go through it a little bit quicker. First guy is Jeremiah Allard. And Jeremiah, he lettered last year, so he's going to receive a chevron. And we expect big things out of Jeremiah. And he's a good player for us, and he showed it this year. Next, receiving his W and a pin is Aiden Durindin. And Aiden, he's a big fella who's come a long way in just a year. And it's kind of scary what he's going to look like as a senior. And I'm excited for Aiden. Next is German Hernandez. He receives his W and his pin. And German all of a sudden found himself starting on the offensive line this year. I don't know if German knew he was going to start on the offensive line. In the first game, I don't know if German knew he was playing offense. And where German started to where German finished just in that 6 weeks was tremendous. And he was the guy that gave it his all and became a pretty good football player in the process. So German. Next is Joe Gendris. He's going to earn his W and a pin. And Joe was starting center for us. And Joe has come a long way and worked his tail off in the offseason. And you can see it. And he's starting to grow into that big body of his. And we expect big things out of Joe. Next is Adonis Roberts. Adonis is going to receive his chevron. And he lettered last year. And Adonis found himself at the tight end spot. We had to move him a spot on defense as well to a linebacker. And Adonis is a student of the game. He loves football, and he's talented, and he asks the right questions. And he's someone that is going to continue to develop into a playmaker for us. First-year kid for us as a sophomore, that's Zarek Spann. Zarek is going to earn his W, a certificate, and a pin. And Zarek all of a sudden came out for football kind of out of nowhere. I don't know who recruited him to play. We're super happy that Zarek did. He found himself on a field. Coach Gendris is accepting responsibility for recruiting Zarek. There you go. But he found himself on a field. And as a first-year kid, that's pretty impressive. And again, Zarek gets another year under his belt, and good things will happen. Next is a sophomore, Julius Torres, who's going to receive his chevron. And Julius really kind of grew into himself this year. And I think it always starts with Julius, like his confidence in his mind. And all of a sudden he realizes that he could be pretty good. And he went out there and at times really showed that as a sophomore. And again, same as the other guys, moving forward, big things are going to happen for Julius Torres if he decides, which he will, he's going to work at it. Next is Jose Torres, who's going to receive his W and a pin. And Jose found himself starting at the strong tackle for us. And again, Jose was another one that, he's a big kid who's starting to grow into that body. And again, another good year of hard work and big things is going to come from Jose. Nolan Toth. Nolan earns his chevron. And Nolan this year, I think, he was up and down about playing and decided kind of last minute to come out. And we're super happy he did. He started at the corner for us and did some nice things. And a kid that's starting to squirt up a little bit and get a little bit bigger and a little bit stronger. Next is Antonio Tucker. Antonio is going to receive his W. And Antonio, he's a kid that's athletic and could be a good football player. And Antonio is going to continue to find that work ethic that we expect from him. And when he does, look out, boy. Next is Luke Zorich. Luke's going to earn his chevron. And Luke had to play all over the field on both sides of the ball this year. And he's a Zorich, so he's immediately a defensive back. And he's a Zorich, so he immediately gets yelled at by me. But Luke is a kid that is super intelligent, both on the field and off the field, and a kid that I know as he continues to develop is going to be a good player. All right, juniors. Our first guy, Phillip Brooks. Phillip's going to earn it says bar, but I think it's a pin and a chevron. And Phillip found himself on the DL basically, and we didn't have Phillip for a while, and all of a sudden he came back around, and it was nice to have Phillip because he's an athlete and does some real nice things for us. And another year of the off season, and Phillip is going to turn into a machine. Our next guy, one of our captains, Tommy Eggers. Tommy's going to earn his captain's star to put on his jacket, which is a huge honor, and he's going to receive a chevron. And Tommy's one of our vocal leaders, and Tommy's not afraid. He's vocal, and I know where he gets that from, and he's not afraid to get in your behind and get after you. And he's becoming physical, and he's a kid is going to do some real nice things. Dom Harbin. We're super happy Dom came out, and he was unsure if he wanted to play football, yet here he is. And all of a sudden, during Boone Grove, Dom finds himself on the defensive line at like 150 pounds. And we couldn't be happier that Dom decided to play. And, man, is he aggressive. And he's not like the nice Ethan Harbin, his brother. He's got a mean streak to him. Next, Jed Huffman. Jed's going to earn his pin and chevron. And Jed, he's an athletic kid, and we moved him around a whole lot. He found himself defensively starting as a linebacker, offensively getting some carries, and playing a little bit of slot for us. And then Jed had a finger issue and wasn't able to play that last game. But, man, we're happy where Jed is developing. DeJuan Player. DeJuan Player is gonna letter. He'll receive his chevron. And DeJuan, unfortunately, had an injury that sidelined him this year. DeJuan definitely would have lettered under normal circumstances. He showed up every day. He helped out however he could. And he just brought that DeJuan personality that we all love. So, DeJuan. Finally, Jaime Velasquez. And Jaime will earn his chevron. And he found himself starting on the defensive line and had to be thrown in there on the offensive line as well. And Jaime is going to be a senior, and I can't believe that. And a good offseason for Jaime. And next year he should be a force. Finally, we're going to go to our two seniors first with Angel Murillo. Angel's going to earn his pin and a chevron and a first-year player. Angel is another one that all of a sudden we found that, he wasn't able to play there for a while. And we're super happy Angel came out and he worked hard. And we wish we had him 4 years. And finally, our captain, he already has this captain star. He'll earn a chevron, and that is Tony Madrino. And I can't say enough about Tony, so I'm going to wait till towards the end, and I'll say what I need to say about Tony, but obviously our leader, both emotional and vocal. So that is our award winners right there. Now it's a lot of talking from me. All right. Coaches, anything before we move on? Am I forgetting something? Are we okay? Okay, that sounds good. All right, y'all, let's go ahead and move on. And we're going to go to our all-conference awards. And uh-oh. You know what I'll do? I'm going to go to all-conference after our team awards. How about that? Only because I didn't print out the list, and I have it right in here. So we're going to go to our yearly awards that we give out, and it's a tradition that we give out these awards dating back a long time, 30 years. So these are important to us, and we're going to give these out, and then we'll come back to the all-conference. So first, we're going to start with Coach Gendris, who's going to give out the Scout Team Award.
Thank you, Coach. So our Scout Team Award this year could have gone to any number of kids, as Coach Jennings kind of alluded to the fact that we had a lot of first-time players, first-year players, a lot of young guys who knew probably that they weren't going to see much on the field. And those guys came out every week and left no doubt in any of our minds that they were giving us everything they had, for those 7 or 8 weeks that we were out there. Being as unique of the year as this was to coach, I couldn't even imagine being a first-year guy coming out and trying to understand that the language of football that we engulfed them in, because football has its own whole language. And as a first-year guy, I can't even imagine trying to pick up in 3 weeks what we would normally do over an entire summer. And there was a whole bunch of guys that came out and they did that. They figured it out, and they did what we asked them every day, every practice. So our Scout Teamer of the Year award winner picked it up as fast as we could have asked him to. Bo Harbin came to every practice. He played hard. He figured stuff out. He was asking the right questions. I got to tell a funny story. About 3 or 4 practices into it, I walked up to him. I said, "Hey, Bo, how you doing? You all right?" And he was right after a play, and he panicked, kind of comes in his eyes, and he says, yeah. I think I know what I did wrong." And I said, and I kind of looked at him, and he goes, "Well, I think." And I said, "Bo, you didn't do anything wrong on that play. I'm legitimately just trying to find out if you're having a good time out here, man. Relax, have fun, fly around." And he you could see right away the relief flood back into him, and his shoulders kind of sunk back, and he relaxed. I said, "Man, have a good time and have fun." And it wasn't too long after that you saw Bo, the wheels started to click, and he started figuring stuff out, and he was out there having a good time, laughing, making those starters better. He was making plays on defense, catching balls on scout offense, doing all the things that we asked him to do. So congrats, Bo. We're looking forward to having you back next season and seeing you make even more of an impact next year, bud.
Bo, you get a football there, so we'll drop that off. All right? All right, go ahead, Coach.
Yep, and we'll send it over to Coach Reese. He's going to tell us the Rookie of the Year.
Thank you, Coach. All right, so our Rookie of the Year award goes to a deserving football player whose first time coming out to play football was this year. So after a little bit of a conversation with one of our other coaches in the offseason, this player decided to come out for the condensed season. I'm pretty glad that he did. One thing that we knew about this young man just coming into the first couple of days of practice is that he was ultra aggressive, which is great for us and great for defense, especially for my end of things. But being a first-year player, he is a little bit raw and doesn't know what he's doing half the time. But you know what? We figured it out. So it took us a couple of games to see where he fit. And believe it or not, him being, I'm quoting, 160 pounds soaking wet, was great for us at nose tackle. During the first round of sectionals against Bishop Knoll, he started in that position and it ended up doing pretty well for himself. I do have to tell one story, though. Him coming off the field during Bishop Knoll after a defensive series, he was mad at the fact that he couldn't figure out what he was doing wrong, and that he wasn't helping the team the way that he should be. So he came over and asked me what he could do better, and honestly, I couldn't think of anything, just right off the bat. The next day, after watching film, all I saw was him getting double teamed, along with making tackles, 10, 20 yards down the field, where he is hustling to that play. All right, he was doing exactly what I asked him to do, and he ended up being the defensive lineman of the game. So that's just one anecdote of the many good things that he's done this year, and I'm extremely proud of him and the football player and the person overall that he is becoming. With that being said, I'm very excited to announce that the Rookie of the Year for Whiting High School is number 80, Dominic Harbin.
Good job, Dom.
And with that being said, Coach Davenport will now present the Most Improved Award.
Hey, good evening, everybody. All right, Most Improved Award. This could have gone to a few guys because we really seen some guys, even with all the restrictions we have, kind of come into their own from last year to this year. But the fellow who is going to win the Most Improved Award, he really, he's one of those guys we talked about as coaches in the offseason saying, well, maybe by the time of his junior year, he can probably really give us something. Well, he ended up giving us a whole lot his sophomore year. And the change he made from the last time I seen him in March to when we rolled back in, and I guess it was late July, whenever we were allowed to do a little bit of stuff there, late July into early August, it was just, it was phenomenal. How much improvement, how much better he was moving. Guys are going to get better. You're going to improve just with age. You can sit on your butt and do nothing, and you're going to improve with age. But if you really want to improve, besides just getting older and puberty working, you got to put in some effort on your own. And this year, we obviously the beginning of March, we weren't physically there to be able to help kids get better. But Most Improved Player, Aiden Durendon, was able to go after it and get after it on his own. And really, where he came from last year as a freshman to where he is at as a sophomore, it's so dramatic. All right, so Aiden, congratulations, man. With that said, we're going to kick it over to Coach Ford. He's going to give out the Defensive Line Award.
All right. Hello, everybody. So my award is the Defensive Digger, which is for the top defensive lineman. And this award's given to our top defensive lineman. When we have our defensive lineman, we look for someone that can move once the ball is snapped by the center. He has to be able to read the blocks of the offensive lineman and then separate himself from those blocks. And we'd like for him to find the ball and get in on the tackle. Our defensive digger, he was able to do just that for us. In 4 games, he had 9 total tackles, 4 of them for a loss of yardage by the offense. And he had the highest defensive line grade for each game. He's only a sophomore, so we expect him to build on this year for the future. The Defensive Line Digger of the Year for 2020 is Aiden Durendon.
Good job, Aiden.
There
it is.
There it is. I'll send it over to Coach Ehrlich for the Offensive Digger of the Year.
Thank you, Coach Ford. Hi, everyone. I'm Coach Ehrlich. I'm presenting the Offensive Digger Award this year. This award goes to the top offensive lineman of the year. So this award goes to a player. At the start of the year, he was moved around a lot, dealt with a bit of adversity in the middle of the season, but he was able to overcome it and work through it with hard work and determination. Offensive Digger Award was chosen. I used the same criteria used to determine each blocker of the week. Blocker of the week, I grade the 5 linemen based off of their assignment, technique, and effort. Then add up each category and total out and give it to the player with the highest total in each category. Okay, so the offensive digger this year was the highest accumulated total for all 3 of those categories. It's going to be a player that's familiar with success because he had won the Offensive Lineman of the Week award several times, deservingly so. So this year's this year's Offensive Digger award goes to Joe Gendrius. Congrats, Joe.
Good job, Joe.
So now I'll pass it on to Coach Davenport, who's presenting the I Want the Rock Award.
All right, everybody. Hey, a little background on what this is, especially mostly for the parents. Kids will understand that. But the guys who on offense who catch the ball, throw the ball, run the ball, we call those the skill positions. Okay, and sometimes those guys who are the skill positions, they like running the ball and they like catching the ball and they like throwing the ball, but sometimes they got a little bit of diva in them. They're not that crazy about blocking people. All right, and when it comes down to playing offense, the most important thing is blocking people. So there's a little saying that goes, if you want the rock, you better block. So with this group of skill guys we had, and we may never do this award again, but because of the skill guys we had this year and their willingness to block from the little tiny guys like Phil Brooks and Luke Zorge to our bigger guys like Julius Torres and Jeremiah Allard, everybody willing to get in there and block. On offense, you can go out there and you can get your butt completely kicked and it ends up being a good block and a positive block. Not so much like that on defense if you get your butt kicked. But on offense, if you go out there and you give great effort, even if you get ragged out and tossed around, it can be a positive thing. So our skill guys, this is kind of a tribute to all of them. Can only give the award to one person, but this is kind of a tribute to how much effort you guys were willing to give and willing to block. So for the I Want the Rock Award for this year is played tight end for us is Adonis Roberts. Congratulations. And we're going to kick it back to Coach Jennings for the Captain's Awards.
All right, boys. We have 2 awards to give, and obviously I already mentioned our 2 captains. Our first one, Captain Award, and think about it, guys. You're chosen by your peers to be the leader. That's a pretty special thing if you think about it, where 25 individuals look to you to have the answers and to lead them. And that's awesome. And it says something about these 2 individuals. The first one is Tommy Eggers. I know it's hard to see. And our second one, our senior, Tony Madrino. All right. So good job, you guys. Well-deserved. Obviously, Tony's a senior, but Tom, don't take it for granted, right? Want to be that captain next year, and you have to earn it, and it isn't handed down, right? So you have to earn it. Okay, before I go on to the teammate of the year, I am going to go back to our all-conference stuff, and I had that. It was just under some other papers, so I do have it. So we're going to go ahead and talk about our all-conference, and the way all-conference works is based on your finish, you get a certain amount of conference recognition. Okay, so this year we received 2 honorable mention or second team players and 2 first team players. So first, we'll start with our honorable mention. Honorable mention guys will get, I believe they get a pin from the conference. So our first one, he had 15 receptions on the year for 174 yards. And a touchdown. He had 354 all-purpose yards. On defense, he had 12 solos, 5 assists, 1 hurry, and 1 block field goal or PAT. Doesn't matter. He had 1 block kick. And he is the recipient of I Want the Rock Award, and our first second team all-conference is Adonis Roberts. Good job, Adonis. Okay, our second guy. Our second all-conference, second team all-conference award winner goes to an individual who on offense had 29 carries for 121 yards and a touchdown. and he had 3 receptions for 22 yards. On defense, he had 12 solos, 8 assists, 3 TFLs, 1 sack, 1 hurry, and 2 fumble recoveries. All GSSC honorable mention goes to Julius Torres. Good job, bud. Okay, we were allotted 2 first-team all-conference members. Our first one had 16 carries for 82 yards. He had a touchdown and 8 receptions for 132 yards and 2 touchdowns. On defense, he had 8 solos, 3 assists, and 3.5 TFLs. He did all of our kicking and had 5 PATs. Our first team all-conference is sophomore Jeremiah Allard. And our last one, he was 40 of 64 for a 63% completion percentage, which is real good, for 454 yards and 4 touchdowns. He was our rushing leader with 59 carries for 351 yards and 4 touchdowns, and he had 2 100-yard gains. On defense, he had 21 solos, 4 assists, and 2 TFLs. He also blocked a kick. Career-wise, he had 529 yards passing and 5 touchdowns, 630 yards rushing. He had 1,256 total yards of offense, 88 total tackles and 5 TFLs, 3 interceptions, 4 pass defenses, 1 fumble recovery, 1 block kick, 10 total touchdowns. He's a 2-year captain, a 3-year starter, and really our leader, and that's Tony Madrino. So great job, Tony. Okay, we're getting towards the end here. A couple more things, and then we will be done. Last year, we started the Paul Strababi Teammate of the Year award, and this is the second year that we're giving out the award. And Paul Strababi is a 1999 Whiting grad, and he was an unbelievable player for us. He was Region Defensive Player of the Year. He was a 4-year letter winner at Ball State. He played outside linebacker / defensive end. He's currently a South Bend cop. He's part of the SWAT unit and the Drug Enforcement Unit. He was selected to Officer of the Month several times and had been featured in several South Bend newspapers and TV stations. Most importantly, he's just a great individual, an unbelievable father and husband, a guy that I'm super proud to call my friend, and a guy that I was more than happy to block for because we had a lot of success because of him. So that's Paul Strababi, and that's who this award is named after. So the Teammate of the Year award, just again, I'm going to give some information about the individual. Obviously, this individual was thrusted into a leadership position, and I'm not 100% sure that he really wanted it initially. All the young guys looked to him for guidance, and I'm sure there's been some frustrating moments the last couple of years, and this kid was never once negative about it all. In fact, he began to take the opposite approach and seemed to rise above it all. He took it upon himself to be a coach on the field and help the younger guys out. We didn't have to beg him. We didn't have to ask him. He just did it. He checked in on guys who were struggling, and he checked in on guys who all of a sudden kind of stopped showing up. He picked up players who failed to make a play or made a mistake. He didn't pout or complain when the pressure was on him. And I can tell you guys, there was a ton of pressure on him from the beginning to the end. He carried himself with class, and he has set the bar high, exceptionally high, for what a teammate should be. And it was a clear-cut winner. Our winner for the Paul Strababi Teammate of the Year goes to Tony Madrino. And Tony will receive a helmet. Okay. So every year we have we do team dinners, and the moms put it on, and it's an awesome tradition. And the last dinner of the of senior week, we let our seniors, or the moms let the seniors say a few words, and it's always an emotional experience. But I think by far our best tradition. And our seniors were kind of let's be honest, kind of gypped of all that. And I asked Tony if he wanted to say a few words to everyone, and he agreed. I'm not sure if he's regretting it right now because there's quite a few people on. But Tony, the floor is all yours, buddy.
Thank you, Coach. I want to first start with thanking everybody that helped me become the man that I am today. It is getting hard. It's okay. The teachers, the coaches, Danny, Ms. Greer, Mr. Chance, Ms. Fergine, and most of all, my mom. They all helped me to get here today. And it's hard. Being the only senior, well, me and Angel, yeah. You guys just gotta stay focused. Listen to the coaches, focus on school, and stay focused. That's all you can do. You're gonna hear this all throughout your high school. After every season, is the 4 years go by fast. Being a part of this program has impacted me a lot. And I can't thank everybody who's been a part of it. I just want to thank everybody who's helped me, and I can thank everybody. Thank you.
Thanks, Tony. Good job, Tony. I know that's hard, man. Well, you guys have seen me numerous times shed a tear, so you have nothing to be ashamed of, buddy. All right. We're just about to the end here, and I'll give some closing comments, and then that'll be it, guys. Next year there's 22 returners right now in this program, and then there's numerous guys who weren't able to play this year who I know is going to be back next year. Okay, there's a lot of uncertainty right now. All right, there really is, and we don't know what the heck is going to happen with everything that's going on. But things are going to get better, man. They're going to get better, and if that means that we need to do virtual workouts, and that's what's going to happen, right? You guys are going to find a way to be successful next year. There's no doubt. I think one of the things that's been pretty awesome is we have proven that sports can be played safely. And again, and we said it, but that's a testament to you guys as players and willing to do what it takes to play sports. And you find that when something could be taken away from you as quickly as it did, you find out how important something is to you. With all that's happened this year, I'll tell you what, there hasn't been a tighter group than this in a long time here. And that I really, really mean that. And from adversity, that's what bonds teams, through adversity. And if you think back to 2015, I know some of us weren't around, but some of us were. In 2015, we had the death of a member of our family and how that impacted us as a group. And we found how we can do something special when you come together. And that's what this group is right here. There's 22 kids that are going to return next year that's going to be a family. And the thing about it with a family, and you can ask your parents, sometimes you got to do the things that you don't want to do, right? That's sacrifice, okay? Your parents don't want to get up every day and go to work, but they have to. That's sacrifice. They do it because they love you guys. And that's kind of what a football team is. It's a big family. And we don't look the same. We don't have the same last names. We come from completely different backgrounds. But you love the dude next to you. And you find a way to take care of business. Because whatever you choose to do or don't do, it doesn't just affect you. It affects the other dudes around you, those 22 or 23 or 50 or 100 guys. So when we skip a workout, that doesn't affect you. That affects the whole crew, right? And that's what we're getting closer. That's what you guys are getting closer to understanding, that you're playing not for yourself. You're playing for the guy next to you and all the other brothers around you. And I hope you guys understand where I'm coming from. And I think, fellas, if we have learned anything from this year, is you can't take anything for granted. And it isn't just football, man. And I've said that many times, and that's kind of what do work is, right? You can't take tomorrow for granted. That means you need to bust your ass today. Be a good person today. Live your life today, because tomorrow is never given. All right? I can't thank you guys enough for just an awesome, an unbelievable year, an emotional and a roller coaster year, but man, one of the most fun years I've had in a long time. And I love each and every one of you guys, and and you need to thank your parents and give them a hug for allowing them, for letting you play ball. And you know, as I always say at the end of every practice, fellas, you need to be thankful that you got another season of football, because you're only given 4 of them, and they go by fast, as Tony said. So 8 minutes past 7, but that wasn't too bad. Thanks everyone for coming out tonight, and congratulations not only to our award winners, but to everybody, including your families. Tough year, but a fun year, and you guys are going to all be better off for it. So thanks, and that's it, guys. Take care.